Each movie is different. Some movies you'll go to Venice, some movies you go to Cannes, some movies you go to Comic-Con. I'm surprised I haven't been here for like Blade and stuff. But I think I was always working when I had a movie here.
Yeah. You had a lot of people shout out Deacon Frost today.
A lot of questions about is there a prequel? Are you doing one? Or, it's just like craziness. I mean, if Steve Norrington would ever rise out of his writing his graphic novels or whatever the hell he's doing, maybe one day we'll do something. But I love Steve. I mean, he's a mad genius. It's just he doesn't like working in the system.
Well, I have a question for Ms. Pinto. You've risen to fame pretty quickly. I mean, there's always the build-up to the point where people start noticing you, so it's not an overnight thing. But with this and Rise of the Planet of the Apes, these are sort of your big tentpole films coming out. What has that experience been like compared to your smaller films that you've done, or sleeper hit like Slumdog Millionaire?
Well, each film has been different so far. I mean, Slumdog Millionaire was what it was, and people loved it, and none of us expected it. So I really can't say that it was all planned or anything. Mm-hmm. And with Julian's film, the one that followed Slumdog, I knew it was not going to be one of those that people are going to be like, "Oh, come here, let's talk about this," that kind of a thing. It was going to be controversial, and it was. Woody Allen's film has and then Woody Allen's film has its own audience. But these films, you kind of know it. There is going to be a massive fan base for it. There's going to be a big fan following as well, especially the films accepted and people love it. And it works. It works in getting future projects as well. And when the script's great and amazing actors to work with, amazing directors to work with, there's no way you can just, I think you'd just be stupid to just say no. So.
After Slumdog exploded, though, do you feel any pressure to follow it up, to keep playing in the same ballpark?
No.
Did your life change? I mean,
it definitely changed, but there was no pressure in terms of, oh, now I have to do a film where everybody sees me, kind of a thing. I just wanted to do a film that I really felt, I would believe in, and felt that I could really challenge, the acting chops, if at all, because with Slumdog I did have, to be honest and fair, 20 minutes in the film, and as good as it was, an amazing experience that it was, I was kind of dying to kind of go guns blazing into something that would challenge me a lot more. And so with every project that I have taken, it's been, okay, what can I do that is different from what I did from the earlier one? And, that's the way I have been looking at every project that comes my way.
What was it like for both of you to step into this world of Greek mythology and really dive into it?
Sorry, they just keep making fun of me on the other table.
By the way, somebody named Haley just called somebody. Kaylee. I don't know too much about mythology. I didn't really, I'm not a mythology buff myself. And, Tarsem was pretty clear. And I think my character also is not as spiritually, he doesn't even know what the hell these people are talking about half the time. And he's pretty much just wants to make out with Freida Pinto in the movie. I mean, Stavros is he's a slave, he's a thief, and I think if he had his way, he'd probably be able to steal, Freed and take her south, head south to the other side of the border where Mickey went by a nice little farm. I think Stavros would love to do that, but ultimately the world is in dire need of some safety, and so I think he'd rather team up with this good-looking person and this crew than be alone and die, So I think I didn't really get too mythological. I think for Freida it's probably maybe a little different because you're,
But did I read? Did you ask me if I read?
Read it, or just like what was it like? Your impressions of stepping into that world?
Well, the thing is, I really couldn't read anything because even if I did, it would just be for myself, like for pleasure. But the vision that Tarsem had for this film was completely his own and had nothing to do with things that I probably read in the book. We were changing a lot of things around that would suit Tarsem's vision. So in that sense, I really did not read anything or, read anything for the film, for my character. Was that the question?
Well, or just your impressions of that,
and
of that world that you stepped into when you took the part.
Well, it was different. It was very different. I mean, with Stavros' character, like he said, it was very grounded and straightforward. With my character, there's this internal battle going on because she has this gift where she can see the future, and she has, the gift of seeing the future and having these visions that can help people. But at the same time, it's agonizing because she can't really feel. She can't really, she wants to feel like the human would feel. So she's got to make this big decision between keeping that amazing gift or, losing it all for love. And it's kind of, to just keep it all internalized and like Tarzan didn't want it to be really loud and over dramatic or very comic-y. He just didn't want it to look like a gimmick. He just wanted to keep it real. I think that was the interesting part about my character.
You could have fallen in love with Stavros.
I could have.
Still
but
really
except I didn't.
pisses me off.
What is it like to step into? I mean, we spoke about the mythology of it all, but the way that these types of films are shot and created, it's totally unique. Creating that world almost entirely. In the panel, Tarzan mentioned that a lot of the sets were actually built. But obviously that's sort of the vein of 300 and the way that was shot. Can you talk a little bit about how it's different from regular conventional filmmaking?
300 movies like, from what I know, and movies like Sin City or what Rodriguez does, you're literally standing from a green screen. There may be a piece of a car or a fender or you have your one sword, but you have like things on your head. I mean, it really feels unorganic, you know what I mean, from what I've heard. This was kind of different. It felt like we were making a real movie, and then there's just this huge green screen behind a set as big as this room, you know what I mean? So, when you have horses that are dead or exhausted laying on the ground, they're real horses, when you're not, so it felt still like I could feel and touch things and, communicate and do my job, I think it might be more difficult if we're just standing there and
imagining everything.
I don't think I could do those kinds of movies. I don't think I'd be the right. I'd get too frustrated, I think.
No, it was like a living
Throw a
set in that
tantrum or
sense.
something.
Definitely like a living set. Everything. I think Tarzan was very generous in that sense.
It's
to kind
very
of
alive.
keep it real in a way so that actors didn't have to imagine all of that.
Yeah, it was the perfect
frustrated.
medium, when you see what we saw out there tonight, there's a lot that wasn't there, but there was a lot. The basis, and I would say 50%, the foundation was there.
Yeah.
And that, that always helps.
You described Stephen Norrington as a mad genius. How would you describe Tarzan, both of you?